Hi again, church family. Now, as we get more and more into the topic of self-care and begin to look at more specific strategies, I want to take a minute to encourage you to be holistic in your approach, holistic in how you view and treat yourself. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I have to get a little bit theological, so please bear with me for a minute. You see, as Christians, we do have a tendency to divide up and compartmentalize ourselves into the non-physical, our mind, our soul, our spirit, and then into the physical, our body. We will often draw a very sharp line between these two sides and then treat the physical side of ourselves as less important, as expendable even, as if this is not really us, but just some shell that we temporarily inhabit. And then, of course, we treat our non-physical side, our mind, our soul, our spirit, as far, far more important, as though this and this alone is really us. Now, doing so may seem theologically justifiable and grounded. I mean, we are going to spend eternity in heaven without a body, right? So that really isn't us. That is expendable. Well, no, that's not the case. In the Bible, our ultimate hope, our final hope, is actually the resurrection, the restoration of everything, of the heavens and the earth and us physically. We will all rise to new life physically. This is why, for instance, the Apostle Paul writes in Romans 8:23 through 24, we wait eagerly for adoption as sons, the redemption of our bodies. For in this hope we were saved. God means to, and he promises to redeem us as a whole, not just spiritually, but physically also. Well, if that's the case, it has at least a couple of big implications for how we approach self-care. First of all, as my seminary professor, Dr. Howard Snyder, once told my class, if God means to restore something, then we should probably take care of it too, right? Your body isn't expendable to God. He doesn't mean to get rid of it, but to redeem and restore it. And so we shouldn't treat our physical self as expendable either. And then second, our body is very much an integrated part of who we are. It's not that we are a mind that happens to inhabit a body, but that we are mind and body. It's us, all of it. It's us. And so the way you treat your body will affect your overall well-being because it is a part of you. You will be deeply and overall affected by things like whether or not you get enough sleep or stay physically active or get enough nutrition. These things are going to affect your overall well-being. This is why, for instance, in Mark chapter 6, which we looked at previously, we looked at in another talk, Jesus tells his disciples when they are weary and worn down, he tells them to go away and get some rest because he knew that rest was essential for their overall well-being. It's not something that can be skipped out. The Bible calls us to take care of ourselves, including physically, right? Not just mentally and emotionally and spiritually, but also physically, because we are an integrated whole. And what happens in one part of us, in one part of our life, will affect the rest of us. God cares for our whole self, and he wants us to as well. Now, of course, only caring for the body isn't enough, and that's what the secular world often does. We also need to care for the soul, but then at the same time, it's not enough to just care for the soul, as the church will often do, but instead we also need to care for the body. We are an integrated whole, so let's care for the whole of ourselves.